Welcome to the Eldritch Hour. I'm Lilith Fury, the Eldritch Queen of Horror, here to guide you through the dark, the macabre, and the extraordinary. Today, we're diving deep into one of Clive Barker's most visionary and genre-defying creations, Nightbreed, and its source material, Cabal. We'll also explore the graphic novel continuation, Nightbreed, the comic, and its rich, terrifying world that has become a cult phenomenon. So, light your candles, draw your summoning circles, and let's get spooky, my ghoulish darlings. First, let's talk about the novel that started it all, Cabal. This 1988 novella is classic Clive Barker, blending horror, dark fantasy, and an exploration of the human and inhuman condition. The story follows Aaron Boone, a troubled man who believes he is responsible for a series of brutal murders, thanks to the manipulative lies of his psychotherapist, Dr. Decker. As Boone flees, he discovers Midian, an underground city where the monsters of the world live in hiding. But these creatures are not what they seem. They're not villains, but victims, rejected by humanity because of their differences. Midian itself is a stunning metaphor for marginalized communities, and Barker weaves themes of acceptance, identity, and otherness into every page. If you haven't read Cabal, you're missing out on some of Barker's most beautiful and poetic prose. The book is dripping with vivid imagery and raw emotion. Midian is described as a labyrinth sanctuary, a haven for creatures with unique appearances and abilities. And Boone's transformation from a man wrestling with guilt and self-loathing to a protector of this otherworldly community is one of Barker's most powerful character arcs. And let's not forget Decker, the twisted villain who hides behind a mask for normalcy. The button-face mask is both chilling and iconic, symbolizing the two-faced nature of humanity's own monsters. Now, let's move on to the 1990 film adaptation, Nightbreed. Directed by Clive Barker himself, this movie had so much potential to revolutionize the horror genre. Barker envisioned it as a Star Wars of horror, a dark fantasy epic that would bring his vision of Midian to life. The practical effects are a triumph, giving the Nightbreed an array of grotesque yet mesmerizing forms, each with their own unique designs. The underground city of Midian is a sprawling Gothic masterpiece, filled with a mixture of terror and beauty. And David Cronenberg as Dr. Decker, absolutely chilling. Cronenberg's portrayal adds layers of menace to the character, making him one of the most unsettling villains in horror cinema. But let's address the elephant in the room. Nightbreed was ahead of its time, and unfortunately, it suffered greatly because of studio interference. The original theatrical cut was chopped into pieces, with much of Barker's vision left on the cutting room floor. The studio marketed it as a slasher movie, which completely missed the point of the story's themes of belonging and acceptance. Thankfully, years later, we got the Nightbreed director's cut, which restored much of the lost footage and brought us closer to Barker's intended vision. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. It's a game changer. Now, let's dive into Nightbreed, the comic, which expands on the lore of Midian and its inhabitants. These graphic novels take the story behind the confines of Cabal and the film, introducing us to new characters, new monsters, and is absolutely stunning, capturing the grotesque beauty of Barker's world. What I love most about these comics is how they explore the backstories of Nightbreed themselves, like the Pelican or Shanasasi and Narcisse. They get the spotlight, and their histories are just as compelling as Boone's. It's a must-read for any fan of the film. And can we talk about how important Nightbreed is as a metaphor? Clive Barker has always been unapologetically himself. And as a gay man, he brought much of his own experience to the story. Midian is a haven for outcasts, for those rejected by society simply because they're different. Sound familiar? Nightbreed resonates with anyone who has ever felt like they don't belong, whether because of their sexuality, race, gender identity, or any other reason. It's a story about finding your tribe, your family, and standing together against the world that refuses to understand you. And honestly, as someone who identifies as queer, disabled, and indigenous, this story hits close to home for me. Now let's talk about the legacy of Nightbreed. It's a cult classic, and for good reason. While it didn't get the recognition it deserved when it first came out, it has since gained a loyal following. There are fan theories, fan art, even fan-made costumes of the Nightbreed. And let's not forget the Nightbreed 30th Anniversary Edition comic, which revisits the world of Midian and introduces new horrors. If you're as obsessed as I am, you'll want to get your hands on every piece of Nightbreed lore out there. The Nightbreed Chronicles, published in February 1990, is a detailed companion book that expands on the backstories of the characters from Nightbreed and Cabal. Written by Clive Barker, it provides fascinating insights into the origins of key characters like Babette, a shapeshifter like her mother Rachel, but whose form reflects her father's man-beast nature. Kinski, whose disfigurement stems from a failed attempt at self-reinvention for unrequited love. And Pelican, a rebellious figure in Midian who swells his tribe by passing on its traits through blood. The book also delves into the tragic stories of Shauna Saucy, a former prostitute haunted by the ghost of a senator she killed. He deserved it. And oh, the kind soul marked with tattoos that were made by angels. These backstories add depth to the film's characters, highlighting the pain, longing, and humanity behind the monstrous making. The Nightbreed Chronicles, an essential read for fans who want to understand the rich world of Midian. Finally, I want to gush about how much Clive Barker's work means to me. I have every single book he's ever written and every movie he's ever made and everything that's based on his stories. Cabal, The Hellbound Heart, Weave World, Magica. I could go on and on and on. Barker's imagination is unparalleled, and his ability to weave horror with dark fantasy is why he's a master of the genre. Nightbreed is just one piece of his genius, but it's a piece that has had such a profound impact on horror and on me personally. It is tied for my #1 favorite movie alongside Return of the Living Dead. So, my ghoulish darlings, if you haven't read Cabal, watched Nightbreed, or dived into the comics, what are you waiting for? This is a world that demands to be explored, that invites you to embrace the monstrous and the beautiful. As always, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Which Nightbreed character is your favorite? And if you could live in Midian, what kind of creature would you be? Stay spooky, my loves, and I'll see you next time on the Eldritch Hour. Remember, the monsters aren't always the ones you should fear. Sometimes, they're the ones who save us.